Okay, let's see. I'm just doing a quick sound check. Cool. So, welcome back to my channel, everybody. And I just had a quick revelation that I wanted to share with you, and it's probably going to get kind of lengthy, so buckle your seatbelts. So, I was going through a lot of reads today, and I went through an article that was talking about the causal relationship between intimacy and commitment. And so I think that both are intertwined so correctly. But this is a revelation for me because I never really thought about the effects that, the effects I have on others in terms of intimacy, because I'm a very intimate person. I don't like, service level conversation. I like personally qualitative experiences. And like tomorrow, I'm trying to get a get together of a small amount of people to talk about really deep things. But I wanted to talk in terms of dating, what intimacy means to ENFP. And if you know or are an ENFP, I would totally stick through this video through and through, because I'm going to talk about a challenge that most ENFPs and potentially INFPs have, or maybe FI users in general, maybe and just pretty much generally everybody in either the dating world and friendships. So without further ado, so my main thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is intimacy with ENFPs, and the fact that most ENFPs I know, they crave intimacy. And usual people of the sexual preference and Enneagram, socializing type, prefer intimacy, connectivity, that one-on-one. And when I think about it, I always pursue this in dating. I pursue this in my friendships and intimate friendships, without really realizing intimacy's place. And when I say intimacy, I don't mean to loosely phrase it as just intimacy. I want to encapsulate a couple of different things. I want to within that umbrella of intimacy, I want to refer it also in-depth conversation about your personal life, what you're going through, intricate details of your personal life and your family, maybe, personal hardships, obviously sex, obviously touch, talking a lot, spending a lot of time with somebody. I have a list here, like struggles, past hurts, hopes, and dreams. Anything that just gets deep down into the inner workings of somebody. A lot of people fall into the friend zone, not because they put themselves there, they did, but they also got too intimate on their end. And so what I say to that is, there's so many, especially between a guy and a girl pairing. But I'm going to speak more in terms of dating. In my personal experience, I just recently started talking to somebody that elicited all this, because I'm learning a lot right now. But in general, I feel like ENFPs are, they crave intimacy, and they give that just naturally, ever so naturally, without understanding the repercussions of it. And I think a lot of ENFPs out there may wonder why, what they want is never reciprocated. And so I think I had a breakthrough today. I thought long and hard about it. And I believe that ENFPs, they want, and it's not just set to ENFPs, there's probably going to be a range of people. It doesn't matter. I'm saying, there's probably more of a correlation with the ENFPs, but, we desire intimacy. We desire, having that person next to us, and we desire companionship. We desire hugs. We desire affection. We love giving affection. We like giving, in general, in dating and when we're with people. And not a lot of ENFPs, I think, understand that. And it's just blown my mind that there's a causal relationship, meaning it's, intimacy is directly correlated with commitment. And the way that I see it, it's like there's two people. There's in this, let's just say like my experience, my situation, there is women, there's a girl, and then there's me, right? And from what I've noticed, retracting back into my memories of situations, is you have an ENFP, let's say me, who loves intimacy, understands its importance in a dynamic, and I just, I want it, I desire it, I want to give it, I want to mutually collaborate with intimacy with another partner. But the thing that I've understood up until now, this past day of contemplating it, is intimacy goes hand in hand with, right? So if I have this amount of intimacy, I want to have this amount of commitment that is supposed to tread alongside the intimacy. And so what I think I've done throughout my life is, you have the guy, you have the girl, and they both have intimacy and commitment, 2 bars. I've always overexceeded on intimacy on my side, right? And that gets the women's both intimacy to level along with their commitment to level. And so what you have in not only hookup culture and dating is you have people that are mutually subscribing, right? Subtly and over time, intimacy, and raising the bar slowly. And as that intimacy bar raises, you get to know that person more. You like that person more. You're seeing them more, talking to them more, texting to them more, touching them more, right? The activity is rising, the intimacy is rising. That commitment level also takes hold as well. And what I've noticed, especially for me, and I'm just not going to speak for every ENFP, but I'm only just going to assume based off of my own experience and talking to others, and it makes total sense. But I believe that NFPs, or maybe NTPs even, they'll pursue, or maybe, NFJs, they pursue a certain degree of intimacy. Definitely NFJs, ENFJs, INFJs, maybe more ENFJ than INFJ, and more ESFP than ISFP maybe. But when you require that, like a particular level of intimacy, I believe that they all operate in thresholds. So I'll give you guys an example to go off of that I've actually talked about recently. I dated an ENFJ for about 2 months, and I was kind of on the fence with whether or not I wanted to go forward or not, right? So we were both at like this intimate, like this level in terms of intimacy, right? But hers was as equal commitment. So her intimacy and commitment is rising, right? My intimacy is rising, but my commitment isn't. It's stuck at a certain spot because I'm like on the fence with the relationship for like, X, Y, and Z reasons. It's just, things that happened. And as hers is rising, she's noticing that my commitment isn't rising. And so that's alarming her. And that kind of makes her be a certain way towards me. And so it's unsettling and it's disrupting the balance. And so what I've come to realize now is not just how special intimacy is, because that's obviously why, I consider myself very involved with being intimate in general. But how important it is on a global scale. How many people don't realize that when you mutually subscribe to either, have an intimate moment with somebody, whether it's just making out or talking deep and really getting to know somebody, and both of you caring that deeply, or having, having sexual activity, when you mutually subscribe to those kinds of deep and meaningful things, which encompasses intimacy, I personally believe that you're obligated, you're mutually saying yes to moving that boat forward, right? The intimacy level is going to arrive, and eventually you'll get to thresholds of dating, getting exclusive, being in a relationship, and then henceforth, right, opens up new avenues of discussion. And I'm totally in agreement with that. And I'm just going to speak from a situation that started this train of thought with me recently. I met somebody very special, and for whatever reasons that I know and you guys will not, we have to take it slow and just get to know one another. And I didn't realize the magnitude that intimacy played a role in my everyday with people that I want to move, that I either want to date or talk to or whatever. And, it's kind of like shotgun to the emotional boundaries. And this talk's really about the emotional boundaries that ENFPs tend to just hop over. Maybe ENFJs, maybe other types as well too. But I hop over boundaries, and I've kind of fallen from that thought of really being aware of that. And I hop over people's boundaries and make myself comfortable like there's no tomorrow. Because I can make people feel so comfortable, it's easy for me to just kind of step over that wall that has minimized, right? And I've never really realized how much that I don't take it slow. And understanding that, it's made me kind of really reevaluate my approach to what I think I know is right for me versus the usual subset of different outcomes that usually happen. And so I see the pattern of one of 10 things that happen usually at the end of a dating experience with somebody. And it makes me think like, wow, maybe I can change up these ending results to be different things. Maybe if I change my behavior in dating. And I don't necessarily have bad behavior in dating. I just realized my relationship with intimacy, with commitment, and how they both are connected. Because I don't have a problem I don't have a problem with commitment. It's the committal value that coincides with intimacy and how they're paired, right? Because I do want, if I find somebody that I really want to be with, then yeah, sure, I definitely want a relationship if it makes sense. If I see that long-term projections actually holding, of course I want that stuff. I believe that, there's something that I heard like, a while ago, and I don't think anybody says it anymore. There's a stigma around ENFPs and how we don't want to be in relationships, right? We, for whatever reason. But I think that's not true. I think that maybe ENFPs have a warped sense of intimacy, and it's about acknowledging the, what intimacy, how intimacy correlates with certain things within the dating experience. One, connecting those two, connecting the many things that could be that. In this instance, it's intimacy and commitment, and how that plays a role in dating, which I think it's an important thing to be aware of at all times, because it goes into boundaries. Emotional boundaries is my next thing, which I'm probably going to relabel this title. And so my point is here is that I think ENFPs don't leverage their value in the right way, because I think ENFPs in particular may have a warped sense of intimacy, not a warped sense of commitment. They want to be committed, but the alignment between those two are very heavy, and they create a certain kind of dynamic within a pairing of two people, And so I would safely say that, I had a big role in that. The last girl that I dated for 2 months, the ENFJ, had I brought more clear communication about the commitment and intimacy problem that we both had, where the intimacy was rising, but the commitment was the same for me, and explained that more and communicated where I was more in terms of emotional boundaries. There were no emotional boundaries. We were just crossing over each other's emotional boundaries, trying to figure out why we're all in a disarray. And, I think that, you can play this out into friendships as well, because, if you have a guy and a girl best friend or whatever, you need emotional boundaries. You can't, spend so much time with that pairing. You can't, you can't have the dating qualities and the intimacy qualities and the committal qualities without there actually being that dynamic, right? Because then it doesn't make sense, right? If you have high intimacy and no commitment on both sides, right, then believe it or not, I feel like that's how best friends in a opposite gender friendship get involved with getting hurt and burned, because they're just kind of clueless to like what happened in this. Like, why did the guy blow up? Why did the girl blow up? Right? Why is the girl upset that she's talking to this guy who was a boyfriend, and she's upset that she doesn't understand why she's upset, because now they have this intimacy. A lot of, if you're a middleman in a kind of relationship of friends, if you play the middleman and you instill like intimacy on whether you're a guy or the girl, and you instill intimacy between that pairing. I actually had a situation years ago where I was in a triad friendship with two friends, and I had just a huge level of intimacy, like a top level intimacy with my girl that was a friend. We'll call her Martha, and my best friend, Steven, renamed the name. Steven wouldn't get the intimacy that he needed from her, would have it with me, but she would have the physical contact with him. And, we would just be friends, obviously. But me and her, I actually ended up blowing up. And I was like, listen, like, I don't feel like this is a fair friendship, because you're getting one thing from me and one thing from your boyfriend / my best friend. And a lot of people don't realize the boundary effect that they have. And so what I would say, guys, is if you're listening to this video, think about your relationship with intimacy and how it connects with commitment, right? Make sure that your commitment is just as much as it is with intimacy, and never tread over. You never want to have intimacy over commitment, because then that's where the issues start to happen. You have one person who just is seeing one thing that's desired, but without the other, right? And like my example before, the ENFJ that I was with had all the intimacy, but without the commitment in what she wanted. She wanted us to move forward. We reached that threshold where we were entering a new space of connectivity, and the intimacy was there, but the commitment wasn't there on my end. Not because I didn't want it, but again, for other reasons. So you have to make sure that you're both at equally at the same place with both intimacy and commitment. And if you guys are too high in intimacy for whatever reason, whatever pairing you may find yourself in, friendship or dating experience or relationship, then you have to tone down the intimacy to where the commitment is, and have that make sense. And what that would look like is, if you're spending a lot of time with a woman or a guy, or you guys are touching and you guys are getting really deep into serious things and very detailed things, and you're just talking, texting, calling all the time, you have to think about this in terms of, is the commitment equally there, right? Are we stepping over the friendship line or the dating line, right? Let's just say, like, you had, like, you went on a date, or you're dating some girl, and you guys are or a guy, and you guys are consistently having sex, and you're having passion, you're having all this stuff. Is that intimacy here and the commitment here? Are you in the early stages of dating, but your intimacy is too high? This is why you are seeing in society right now, especially in the millennial generation, you're seeing these 2-month to 4-month flings, and they fizzle out and blow up for whatever reason, is because you have the intimacy it's just the level of it is too high compared to the commitment that has to be a match and balance to it. And you're having these situations where people are blowing up, and somebody's upset and the other person's like, well, I didn't care that much. And you have to make sure you're on the same page. And the best way, I think, to approach this is to always communicate the balance between the commitment and the intimacy. And if somebody is offsetting one of the two, then you guys need to have a conversation about that. It's okay to go backwards. I mean, I'm in the process of that right now with somebody, and it kind of shook up my world, and it kind of made me realize, how intimate I can be, how overly intimate I can be to the commitment that I'm actually not representing. And you have to make sure that you are being representative of both in not in a healthy way, but in a genuine way, in a way that makes sense for where you will be, whether it's your friends or whether it's your relationships. So, but these are my generic thoughts on the matter. I'm still processing a lot of this, because it makes total fucking sense. So hope you guys liked this video. Let me know if you have any questions henceforth of this topic, and I hope that helped somebody who watched this video. Make sure you subscribe, comments down below, And I'm going to be posting a new link for a new YouTube / the video streaming outlet that I'm on now. And so you can find that down in the description or my channel homepage. Make sure you like and all that good stuff so I can keep making videos. And, definitely comment. Find me on whatever channel you want, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or add me on Snap. All the links are here. And, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good time rewatching this video for the good content. I'll see you next time.